Today, we will bring back to life a city that once stood at the very heart of North America, a city that vanished without a trace. Join me as we walk through ancient streets, explore sacred temples, and uncover the secrets hidden beneath the grass for centuries. This is Cahokia, America's forgotten capital. Our journey begins in the present day. Before you stretches a quiet field in Illinois, near the great Mississippi River. Gentle grassy mounds rise from the earth, surrounded by modern houses and distant highways. It feels peaceful, almost ordinary. But over 1,000 years ago, this was anything but ordinary. Beneath your feet lies the heart of a once great civilization. You are standing in what was Cahokia, the largest city ever built in North America before Europeans arrived. Around the year 1050, something extraordinary happened here. People from distant villages and tribes gathered in this sacred place. The population exploded almost overnight. At its peak, Cahokia may have been home to 20,000 to 40,000 people, larger than London at the very same time. This was not a simple village. It was a true metropolis, with neighborhoods, markets, temples, and wide ceremonial plazas. As you walk forward, massive shapes rise before you. These are not natural hills. They are earthen mounds, created basket by basket by human hands. The greatest of them all is Monks Mound, towering nearly 100 feet high, its base larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza. Imagine thousands of workers hauling soil day after day, year after year, layer by layer. Atop this monumental structure once stood a grand temple, where leaders and priests performed rituals to connect the earth, the sky, and the people. Surrounding Monks Mound was a city alive with ceremony and life. Grand plazas stretched out on all sides, where crowds gathered for festivals, markets, and sacred events. The air would have been filled with chanting, drumming, and the smell of roasting food drifting on the wind. Here, politics and spirituality blended into a single force. Rulers were seen as chosen by the spirits, their power displayed through awe-inspiring rituals. To your left stands Woodhenge, one of Cahokia's greatest marvels. A massive circle of towering wooden posts carefully aligned with the sun. On the solstices, at sunrise, the sun would appear perfectly framed between certain posts. For the people of Cahokia, this was not just science. It was a sacred connection to the cosmos. It proved that this was a city of astronomers, engineers, and visionaries, not a primitive tribe. As you move deeper into the city, imagine the streets alive with activity. Hundreds of wooden houses with thatched roofs line the paths. Children laugh and run past you. Merchants shout over the crowd as they trade food, tools, and goods from across the continent. Copper from the Great Lakes, obsidian from the Rocky Mountains, shells from the Gulf of Mexico. The rivers around Cahokia were the highways of the ancient world, connecting this city to distant lands. But greatness came at a cost. Feeding tens of thousands required vast fields of corn, beans, and squash. Forests were cleared for construction and firewood. The surrounding landscape was reshaped to support the growing population. Tensions may have grown as resources became scarce and leadership struggled to maintain control. Archaeologists have uncovered fascinating, and sometimes disturbing, evidence of Cahokia's social order. Some burial mounds contain incredible treasures: copper plates, finely crafted jewelry, rare stones. Others reveal mass graves of sacrificial victims, suggesting that power was upheld not only through belief, but through fear. Now picture yourself climbing the steps of Monks Mound. From the top, the entire city spreads before you like a living tapestry. Markets bustle with trade. Woodhenge towers align with the rising sun. Smoke rises from thousands of hearths as people gather in the plazas below. From here, you can feel the energy of a civilization at its peak, vibrant, complex, and deeply spiritual. But then, it begins to fade. By the mid-13th century, Cahokia was in decline. The reasons remain one of history's greatest mysteries. Some believe climate change caused floods and droughts. Others point to political unrest and civil conflict. Perhaps diseases spread along the very trade routes that once brought prosperity. Whatever the cause, the once bustling streets fell silent. The Woodhenge posts rotted and fell. The grand temple atop Monks Mound crumbled, and the people disappeared. When European explorers arrived centuries later, they were stunned by the massive earthen mounds. Many refused to believe that indigenous peoples could have built such wonders. Myths arose about a lost race of mysterious builders. But modern archaeology has revealed the truth. Cahokia was built by indigenous Americans, ancestors of tribes like the Osage and the Illinois. Today, Cahokia Mounds is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, protected for future generations. As you walk among the silent mounds, you can almost hear the echoes of drums, the laughter of children, the voices of merchants bargaining in the market. It is a reminder that America's story did not begin with Europeans, but with thriving civilizations that came long before. And so, as you take your final steps and look back one last time, the grassy mounds seem to breathe. For a fleeting moment, you can almost see the city rise again. The sun perfectly framed through Woodhenge, the plaza alive with celebration, the great temple glowing in the dawn. Cahokia lives on, not only in the earth beneath your feet, but in the story we choose to tell. As we continue walking, the once bustling streets around you begin to change. The laughter of children fades, replaced by the soft whisper of the wind. The markets go silent, the drums stop beating. The houses, the plazas, the great temple, all dissolve into mist. Cahokia, once the heart of a vast network of cultures, now slips into memory. By the mid-13th century, this great city was nearly abandoned. The reasons remain one of history's most haunting mysteries. Perhaps powerful floods from the nearby Mississippi swallowed farmland, leaving people hungry. Perhaps rival factions fought for power, tearing the city apart. Or perhaps deadly diseases traveled along the same trade routes that once brought riches. No one knows for certain. What we do know is that a thriving civilization simply disappeared. Centuries passed. When European explorers first reached this region, they found only grassy mounds rising from the earth. The city itself was gone. For generations, many refused to believe that indigenous peoples could have built such wonders. Legends grew of a lost race of mysterious builders. But today, archaeology and science tell us the truth. Cahokia was built by Native Americans, the ancestors of tribes like the Osage, the Illinois, and many others. It is their story, their heritage, their legacy. As you walk across this modern field, imagine the layers of history beneath your feet. The streets where children once played. The marketplace where merchants bargained. The Woodhenge where crowds gathered to witness the sun's sacred dance. All of it still exists. Not in stone, but in memory, in the earth, and in the stories we keep alive. Today, Cahokia Mounds is protected as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but it is fragile. Climate change, urban expansion, and neglect threaten to erase what little remains. By visiting, by learning, and by sharing its story, we help preserve this piece of America's hidden past. Now, as our walk draws to a close, we return to the present. The towering temple fades completely, replaced by grassy hills. The sound of traffic hums in the distance. Tourists wander nearby, unaware of the city that once thrived beneath their feet. Yet, if you pause and listen closely, you might still hear echoes, faint drums carried by the wind, voices whispering from 1,000 years ago. As you take your final steps, turn back and look one last time. The sun sinks low, perfectly framed by the mounds, just as it once aligned with Woodhenge's sacred posts. For a brief moment, past and present merge. The city lives again, not as ruins, but as a living story. Cahokia reminds us that America's history is far deeper and richer than most realize. It did not begin with the Mayflower or Columbus. It began with powerful, complex civilizations like this one, cities filled with visionaries, builders, and dreamers. So today, we walk together not just through a historic site, but through time itself. Every step we take brings the past closer and keeps it alive for future generations. As the light fades and our journey ends, remember this: Cahokia is not truly lost, as long as we remember it.